They've all been negative. So you have to take all that into account when you're looking at him and seeing Ron Rivera's got to get a hold of this team and get Cam in check.
And I'm glad that you're saying that, because that's the first step is admitting it. Okay. And I applaud you for doing that.
He's still better than Tony Romo. He still got further than Tony Romo. I wouldn't say better. He got further than Tony Romo.
Hey, look, I bet you Tony Romo going to be in the Super Bowl here in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yo, let me tell you, if Carolina called Tony Romo and we get to that bowl, I want to make sure we go through Dallas.
Nah, you don't want that. You don't want that.
Because I want to see Jerry up there. Nah. I want to see Jerry up there in that booth biting his nails.
Nah, and you know he gonna bite him. You already know he gonna bite him. But let's talk about that Falcons and Lions game. That was a great game that ended on honestly, I can't say it was a controversial call. I've always wondered why, when wide receivers are running the slant, especially on the goal line, and the first team that I really saw do this was the St. Louis Rams back in the day, where they would catch the ball and go straight to the ground.
Right.
You remember that? I mean, they literally would catch the ball, go straight to the ground.
Hey, and Torrey said we got to preserve that body, man.
Absolutely. So Golden Tate catches the ball, and I can't say that he was going to pay a lick for catching the ball across the middle, because the guy wasn't necessarily right there, but he goes to the ground to get the ball.
Well, I mean, he does dive toward the goal line too, but yes, you're right.
But it's almost at a point where you're a strong enough person. We've seen him run through contact. We saw the guy jump into the end zone when he got hit by one of the players. I think it was last season. So he does take contact, but in this case, he didn't have to go to the ground so easily. And I think it was his knee or his shin was down, and the ball was just short of the goal line.
Yeah. He was touchdown, knee touchdown. Did they call it a touchdown?
I don't know on the field if they called it a touchdown or not. I know that through the review they came back and said that it wasn't.
It wasn't. And then because of that, you had the 10, because I think it was 8 seconds on the clock. You had the 10-second runoff in the game.
Right, absolutely.
And that was the controversial part of it.
Right.
A tough L for the Lions.
Absolutely.
Real tough L for them. And honestly, look, another close one for the Falcons. Let's not pretend that these guys are blowing folks out like they were last year.
Right. No. And they're not going to do that. I mean, I honestly think that with the team that they have, they're going to want to play better defense, right? They're 3-0. They're going to want to play better defense this season. They win by 6 against the Bears. They win by 11 against the Packers. They win by 4 against the Lions. So they're winning some close games. But having said that, they're not going to blow teams out, because teams have seen what they bring to the table as far as the wide receiver, the running back. You don't have your coordinator there anymore. He's in San Fran, so there's going to be a little bit of drop off. But their defense is hanging in there, and they'll get it together.
They got all the talent in the world. They'll be okay.
Absolutely.
So we'll see what happens with those guys. Like you said, the Bills beat the Broncos at home, and that happens, man. You know, you get that big game, and then you kind of get that letdown, right?
Yeah. Well, look.
So, but the Bills at home, all right.
Yeah.
Tough squad. They get the W over the Broncos. I don't know. Like you said, I know you're frustrated with that, but that's the way it is.
No, I'm not necessarily frustrated, because I look at those games as you have such an advantage when you're at home. And we saw this with Seattle, how when they were at home, they were unbeatable. Right?
Yeah.
And then they would leave from home.
Right.
And then they were almost like a 500 team that was playing the game. And I don't know if this is actually who Denver is, that they can't actually travel. We're going to see.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be playing some tough games, whether it's in Kansas City, of course, back in Oakland. They have some games where they're going to have to go on the road and they're going to have to win.
Yeah,
And we're gonna see exactly what they're made of. They're gonna have to go to Philly. They're going to Miami. Not saying that that's a tough place to play, but then you're going to the Redskins, and the way that the Redskins looked on Monday night against the Raiders, that could be a tough match for them coming from the Mountain Zone.
Jay No said, "Come see me."
Yeah.
Come up in there talking that trash.
Look, they look tough on Monday night,
and they did. They like they're ready for them Cowboys.
Yeah, look. I'm gonna tell you what. They look good, and so did the Eagles. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Good too.
They look good. They do.
I'm telling you, man, that East is getting tougher.
It is gonna get tougher. It is. Let's talk about your other team, because we're not gonna skip over them. Before we go to that, we can talk about the fact that the Jets stunned everyone and actually got a win, and a dominating win, and they beat the Dolphins. Okay, 20-6. Okay. Josh McCown looked like he may be in the Pro Bowl quarterbacking.
Woo-hoo.
I'm just joking. Okay.
Woo-hoo.
But having said all of that, they did beat the Dolphins last year. This is a rivalry game. This is something that they get up for. You know the teams that's in your division best. Yeah. This is going to be something. This is going to be something. I'm really watching this Jets team to see exactly how far can you tank before
I'm watching them.
Before you start moving yourself out of the best quarterback debate. So let's talk about the Giants.
Hey,
your Giants.
Man.
Yeah, they not that giant.
So, yeah, they came on late, okay? Mm-hmm. Odell showed up, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously can't be stopped. Doing his thing. I don't know what that celebration was in the end zone.
Yeah.
That dude is a different dude.
Yeah, he's an entertainer.
Obviously, he's an entertainer. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Tough L for him. Another tough L for the G-men. Mm-hmm. I am, they scored all their points in the fourth quarter.
They did.
Too little, too late.
Which makes me think, I'm watching that game. They couldn't get anything going in the first three quarters, and then they start, picking it up in the fourth. How much of that is the Eagles just took their foot off the gas, and how much of it is the Giants actually started to figure things out?
Well, look, when you start to press on anything, it's even, those 2-minute offenses, if things are clicking, it's hard to stop. I don't care what defense you are, because, you're running it nonstop. You're running out of the huddle. You're just throwing plays at people. You're keeping the same defensive packages in. Other teams are keeping the same defensive packages are in there. And it's just difficult to stop. So when you got nothing to lose, you're going to go all out. Your strategy, I wouldn't say it goes out the window, but, you go into Madden mode. Okay? And that's what they did. He put the ball up there, up against Odell, and Odell brought it down. I think it was twice in the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah, he did.
He 2 touchdown receptions in the fourth quarter.
He did.
But the Eagles had enough to beat them. Mm-hmm. Don't let the Giants still have major problems.
Right.
And I don't see him getting much better throughout the season. So, yeah.
No, it's going to be a problem. I don't think that they're going to be able to keep Eli upright long enough to complete any more passes. I think they used up all of that in this last game. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then after that, you got the Seahawks, the team that a lot of people have picked to either at least be in the NFC Championship game, but they lose to the Titans as the Titans rack up nearly 200 yards of rushing on them.
Yo, let me tell you, they went. The Titans are a smash mouth team. They are huge. They're big up front. They're big in the backfield. They got a quarterback that can get out there on the edge and run. A quarterback that can pass too. Okay. And when they start pounding that ball down your neck, man,
right,
it is hard to stop. You talk about a running game. I mean, this is probably, as a whole, this running game is probably better than Dallas's. Well, it is better than Dallas's at this point.
Well, at this point, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, you got that two-headed horse, right? And you got DeMarco Murray, who, look, I've always liked DeMarco Murray coming out of college. Okay, Derrick Henry, he's an Alabama back,
big
and
boy.
We kind of know how they do in the NFL. Right?
Yeah,
but he's a little bit better than
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
you
is.
got to give him respect. The guy, and I guess that's one of those things, the positive influence that DeMarco Murray has on him. The fact that team is geared to run the ball. They've drafted to run the ball. And they have a solid defense. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it really showcases the talents that Derrick Henry have. It showcases the ability that DeMarco Murray has, right? And they're able to lean on that to really just grind teams down. Like you said, they have a better rushing attack right now. Yeah.
Yeah, when you play a team like Seattle where their secondary is their strength, when you run the ball, you neutralize that.
Absolutely.
Because by the time those guys get down there, you already picked up 4 or 5 yards. Now you're 2nd and 5. You pick up another 3 or 4 yards. You're 3rd and 1. That's easy money when you got a big line and big backs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So the Bengals, they push the Packers at Lambeau. Aaron Rodgers, again, the Bengals, they go into that prevent defense, right? And Aaron Rodgers, look, I think I looked away for like 2 seconds. And they were already down in field goal range. And they're not that they're not playing for field goals. I just don't get it. I'll never understand why a team goes for that prevent.
Right.
I just don't get it.
You look at the game, the 49ers and Rams game, you had two of the youngest coaches in that game. Okay. Bringing some fresh ideas to the stage. It was an exciting game. I don't know if every game's going to be like that. The Rams have put up a pretty good defensive effort, at least for the last couple games. But it's going to be exciting to see as these coaches get younger, if they get younger, as we go into the analytics age, how situations like that will be made as far as prevent and whatnot.
Play it out.
Absolutely.
Play it out. You're gonna have to. You're definitely gonna have to play it out, because if not, and you got these quarterbacks like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers that you're going against, they're gonna eat you alive.
They're gonna eat you up.
Now the Chiefs, they move to 3-0.
Yeah,
looking good. 24-10. They beat the Chargers. The Chargers are now 0-3. Right? Yep. Division matchup, like you said. Phillip Rivers, he throws his 3 interceptions. Kareem Hunt continues on his torrid pace. 17 carries for 172 yards. The Chiefs, because they can get after the passer, their defense, their offense doesn't have to be spectacular.
But they still are.
And they're playing really well.
They are. They're playing really good complementary football.
But the thing is, can they win in December? And that's what we're going to have to find out. We're going to have to find out exactly if this carries over into December. It's great to start out hot, but you need to finish hot.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So let's get on, of course, the Redskin game. We talked about that, how the Raiders traveled across the country. They look absolutely awful. It was almost
they might have had some jet lag.
If you didn't see the Cowboys game from last week against the Denver Broncos, this was pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Marshawn Lynch was playing, he was in the role of Ezekiel Elliott. Okay. David Carr was in the role of Dak Prescott just from the week before. I mean, they just got hammered, and the Redskins just owned them.
Yeah, they did. Josh Norman, I think he put his foot down, talking about Crabtree and Cooper. Crabtree, 1 reception, 7 yards. Cooper, 1 reception, 6 yards. Josh said, "Yo, show me on the field what you can do."
Right.
Because, the narrative against him is always, oh, he's just a cover 2 guy. He's just as he's that.
Right.
I've always maintained that he's a great cornerback.
Right.
Whether he was worth $70 million, I don't know. But, that the market determines that.
So let me tell you this. Where did you have the Raiders at?
I had them at number 1.
Right. And now where do you drop them down to?
Probably number 4.
Okay. That's still respectable.
Probably
I'm sure you dropped the
I'm
Cowboys a lot further when they lost to Denver in the fashion in which they lost.
Well, I mean, if I had them at like number 13, I probably dropped them to number
29. Yeah.
Let's go on. Go on and talk. Go ahead. Go. Look, floor is yours. Talk about your Cowboys. Go.
I was a little nervous. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That first quarter, I was nervous. And then the thing that turned the game.
You were
around,
nervous that they were using the same blueprint and stuffing Zeke.
Well, not necessarily that. The fact that the offensive line wasn't able to